Hello, this is Yo Matkurum. Today we're looking at the GV60 Genesis smallest electric vehicle. I'm currently driving a large car. My previous car was also a full-size SUV, and the one I'm driving now is a full-size SUV as well. But I've always wondered, if I buy a car next time, I want a comfortable, luxurious first-row car, and the one I want to drive is the GV60, which you'll see today. So, let's carefully check together what makes the GV60 different and whether it can meet the expectations I have. The GV60 I'm driving now recently went through a facelift. The exterior design has changed a bit. The integrated display, which used to have the same form, has changed from a separated middle section to a fully integrated design. It has all the latest Genesis UIs, but there are certain things we expect from Genesis. For me, the most representative thing is the sense of luxury. Every time I get in, I feel like, wow, this is different. The more you drive the car, the more you notice its quietness. And when we talk about all these elements together, we call it ride comfort. So, in conclusion, ride comfort isn't just about being soft or about driving performance, it's a comprehensive art that includes all of these aspects. First, let's take a look at the sense of luxury. I told you at the presentation with a bit of excitement in my voice why you should buy a Genesis vehicle. For example, we often describe something as luxurious when high-quality leather, refined metal, and well-crafted wood are combined. But here's the thing. The sense of luxury in Genesis is definitely a step above the so-called German Big Three, which are often considered the standard for luxury cars. Then there are even more luxurious brands like Porsche, and for many people, the ultimate luxury is something like Rolls-Royce or Bentley. I can say that Genesis is definitely above the German Big Three. The luxury you can see with your eyes and the texture you can feel with your hands. When it comes to these aspects, I would say Genesis is the best. Satisfaction is very high. Especially look at the interior of the car I'm driving right now. I was really surprised, and I kept being amazed the whole time I was test driving it. Did they really choose this color even at the initial launch event of this car? When the Genesis brand had just launched, they showcased cars in collaboration with brands like Prada. The GV60's unique color inspires trust and engages all five senses, much like a luxury brand collaboration. I really enjoy driving this car myself, and when I showed it to friends who drive imported cars, they were truly impressed. The GV60 is Genesis's entry-level vehicle and the newest electric car in its lineup. The interior feels even younger and gives off a more sophisticated vibe. The satisfaction from the colors is incredible. Not only the blue tone interior, but also the beige interior feels warmer than the typical beige we're used to. So, if your satisfaction with the interior is important to you, I recommend you take a look at the actual car. And I think it would be good to make your choice very carefully. In most cases, there's a bit of a difference between what we see in the catalog and the actual vehicle. People say they're disappointed, but the GV60 is a little better. So I think it would be great if you choose a color that you really like. And another thing, an element that completes the sense of luxury is the quietness you always feel while driving. It's called noise, vibration, and harshness. And usually, as a vehicle goes down in grade, it's natural for noise, vibration, and harshness to decrease. But I think the Genesis brand, perhaps from the very beginning, has excelled the most in the area of quietness you feel every time you drive. And that's what allows it to surpass its competitors. Recently, features like noise cancellation have even been added to mainstream cars, which shows that automakers are really paying attention to quietness. While the ride comfort you feel in your body while driving is important, ride comfort is something you can generally be satisfied with in most cars, as long as the road conditions are decent. Quietness is a different story. Quietness is affected by the road conditions, which cause road noise to enter the cabin. As the car moves, wind noise is also generated, and the faster you go, the louder this wind noise becomes. When driving with your family, quietness in the second row is especially important. Regarding the GV60's quietness, since it's an electric vehicle, you need to account for motor noise, window noise from all sides, and road noise from the floor. Even if the driver pays close attention, there are no uncomfortable noises. It's not that there's no noise at all, but usually there are noises that can feel uncomfortable. With the GV60 though, it really makes you feel like you're driving a luxury car. So in terms of visual satisfaction and the quietness you hear, I can say it definitely passes. Then how about the important aspect of ride comfort? The GV60 has already been improved once with a partial update. In the beginning, there were some issues with its handling being a bit unstable, but with the current GV60 I'm driving, you don't have to worry about its handling at all. I've driven this car on highways, regular roads, and various courses. When you watch test drive reviews, you need to be careful because a lot of the people doing the test drives are real experts. Because of that, they've already experienced a variety of vehicles and, of course, have their own preferences. Naturally, evaluating driving performance based on such strict standards is a good thing. However, in some cases, they might exaggerate situations that would never actually happen in everyday use. That's why we always suggest you test drive the car yourself on the channel. You don't need to worry too much or feel overly anxious about it. Now, the third point is ride comfort. The ride is comfortable. Usually when we talk about ride comfort, we use expressions like it's firm or it's soft. More important is the satisfaction from the platform, which is essentially like a person's skeleton. We usually evaluate the third generation platform for internal combustion engine vehicles, and I've said it's well made, especially for mid-sized cars, not large ones. The GV60 runs on the E-Global Modular Platform, which surpasses the third generation internal combustion engine platform in every way. Simply put, internal combustion engines had a third-gen front-wheel drive platform, while Genesis used the rear-wheel drive N3 platform driving both. The Genesis platform clearly feels more refined. Including rigidity and movement, every aspect was much better. The E-Global Modular Platform is used in the Ioniq 5, Ioniq 6 electric vehicle, 5 and electric vehicle, 6, so isn't it the same? You could say the raw materials are similar, but it depends on how you tune them. Just like how the same ingredients can turn out differently depending on the chef, the GV60 definitely feels more luxurious. On highways, you can cruise steadily at 110 km/h, so straight line stability and safety at high speeds are crucial. The satisfaction you get from the steering wheel, the bounce as the car reads the road while driving, the pitching as it moves forward, and the yawing as it moves sideways. Among these conditions, I think the most refined aspect is the pitching. Pitching happens when the front of the car lifts up as it starts, and when you brake suddenly, the front dips down. These are the kinds of jolting movements that occur. Although the GV60 is entry-level, it doesn't have those issues. Especially, pitching is the strongest factor that causes motion sickness. It really makes you feel sick. When you look at these kinds of cars, they usually have a lot of pitching or rolling, right? So they try to improve those aspects, but when it comes to pitching, which really completes the ride quality, it's definitely less noticeable here. Rolling occurs in all vehicles. For example, the X5, which is considered the textbook for SUVs. People who haven't driven these kinds of vehicles might think they don't have any rolling, but that's not the case. Rolling is present, but a moderate amount makes the vehicle feel smoother. The GV60 offers stable control, so the front wheels deliver ideal ride comfort. There's a bit more rolling on the right side, but this rolling itself feels smooth throughout the entire ride. If it gets excessive, you might think the handling feels unstable. But at this level, I think it's just right for a family to use. Especially when people around me say they're buying a luxury car, I recommend they try a Genesis for several reasons. Some people vaguely think, I'm just going to buy a German luxury car, when they're in the process of buying a luxury car. Actually, in terms of satisfaction, it might be lower because the price is much higher and the space is definitely less. Compared to domestic cars, they're at least one class smaller. This is not even comparing to Genesis, but to Hyundai or Kia. If you also consider convenience features, honestly, it's hard to say imported cars have good value for money. But you know, imported cars definitely have their strengths. They have more than a century of experience, while Hyundai has just over 50 years. That's why, in terms of driving performance, imported cars have the upper hand. So then, what can we expect from the Genesis brand? What Genesis pursues is comfort. This comfort can also be described as smoothness, and it has strengths in always providing a sense of ease. That's why I recommend Genesis. Even if you drive the entry-level model, the GV60, you won't feel any discomfort. For example, this ergo seat can be considered a core part of the comfort that Genesis stands for. Even if you drive for a long time, it reduces the strain on your lower back. Especially since it has a massage function, but it's not like it's super refreshing or anything. But it always helps relieve tension, and every time I get in, I wonder why my own car doesn't have a massage seat function. This feature makes me think I need the massage function in my next car. It definitely reduces the strain on your back when you get out after driving for 3 or 4 hours. Whenever I do a test drive, I emphasize how important the seats are. Of all seats, even premium ones, I find Volvo's the most comfortable. If you have to choose between Genesis seats with a massage function and Volvo seats, I would say the massage function might be better. And because the basic size of the seat cushion is large, it supports your thighs well. But there's one more thing here, everyone. In regular cars, it's called a relaxation seat and the leg support extends like this. But that leg support, it's a feature you can't use while driving like this. It helps you get into a comfortable position when you're resting. If you spend a lot of time resting in your car, that kind of feature is really great. But in most cases, you'll be using it while driving. And in that situation, an extension seat that supports under your thighs is much more comfortable. Think about it for a moment. In Genesis vehicles, have you ever seen a driver's seat with a leg support feature? Have you ever seen an extension seat in a Hyundai or Kia car? They used to offer it. The extension seat supports your thighs better, making it more comfortable. With this ergo motion seat that supports my body comfortably, even in the youngest model, the GV60, the satisfaction with this seat is very high. Recently, this ergo motion seat is also offered in higher-end models of mainstream cars. You might think that means it's the same as Genesis, but if you actually test drive, touch, and sit in them, you'll definitely notice a difference. It's not just called ergo motion. The Genesis ergo motion seat actually provides that comfort. This seat includes ventilation, heating, and various other convenience features. Before these features existed, soft materials like sponge were used to create cushioning. But as these features were added, the seat thickness inevitably became thinner. That's why the comfort is different. That's why the seats in the Genesis brand feel much more comfortable, and I can say that the satisfaction from the ergo motion seat is high. And there's another element that completes the sense of luxury. If you value a quiet ride, the car's audio system matters too. This vehicle offers a B&O audio system option. Compared to Hyundai Motor Group's Bose audio system, the B&O system sometimes feels more refreshing and often offers clearer, higher resolution. This B&O system is available in the GV60 for 1.8 million won. Even if other options don't matter to you, the audio system can help you feel comfortable even when you're tired driving. Also, like on a morning commute, it helps you start your day on a bright note. This B&O system is definitely very satisfying. I also like audio systems, and the B&O system for about 1.8 million won seems like a good choice. One disappointing thing is that my current car has digital side mirrors. This partially blocks some tweeters, but since they're very directional, consider that. They enter with a triangular position, and the sound changes based on this posture, and if I lean forward. Part of this area is blocked, so I think raising the tweeter's position would help. It's disappointing that some parts are blocked in this great B&O system. And it seems like a lot of people find this camera-based digital side mirror convenient to use. I still don't really want to recommend it yet. After trying it, I found many advantages. For example, regardless of weather, it always gives a clear image. That's the main benefit. The eyes we use and the field of view created by physical mirrors, including the sense of distance, are actually tools that don't cause us any discomfort. With digital side mirrors showing views from external cameras, it takes time to adjust. Even after adapting, they can still feel odd and make judging distance difficult. Depending on the situation, you might find them very convenient, or on the other hand, you might find them uncomfortable. Just because it's uncomfortable, it's really hard to get rid of it, so you should test drive it several times and choose it if you like it. I still don't think I've gotten used to it yet, so I'll leave this up to your choice. The car I'm driving right now is the Performance all-wheel drive model. It boasts well over 400 horsepower and a powerful 70 kgfm of torque. Driving well matters, but stopping well matters more. The brake's firmness isn't biased to one side. It consistently provides steady firmness. When it's provided like this, you can drive the car comfortably. Braking power is a really important factor when buying a car. The GV60 provides sufficient braking power, and it delivers enough stopping force to complete the comfortable feeling that Genesis aims for, so you don't need to worry about the braking performance. And for drive modes, it offers Eco, Comfort, Sport, and My Mode. From my experience, even if you use Eco mode, you won't feel like the car lacks power. The GV60 is a small vehicle, sized between compact and subcompact classes and about 4,500 mm long. When it comes to the premium feel of the first row space, the satisfaction with the space and the sense of luxury, I definitely think it's more upscale compared to the Ioniq series or Kia's electric vehicle series, which also use the same E-Global modular platform. So I recommend that you definitely compare them side by side, and if you choose the vehicle that you like, I think you won't have any regrets. When the GV60 launched, I shared my test drive thoughts. Now, after evaluating it for long trips, I can say its overall value is high. I'm a bit disappointed that it looks different from other Genesis models. It has a younger appearance, but I prefer the interior design over the exterior, though the exterior is still good. I think if it had looked more similar to the Genesis family, this car might have been even more popular. There may not be a car that satisfies everything perfectly, but I think the most disappointing thing about this car is its exterior design. This configuration provides great interior satisfaction for those who prioritize space. If I ever have to buy a smaller car among electric vehicles, test drive the Volvo EX30 Genesis GV60 and GV70 electric cars I featured in my videos. Try them several times before buying and you won't regret your choice. I'll return with an even better test drive review. Thanks. If this was even a little helpful, please give it a like. Subscribe and turn on notifications to get accurate new car information quickly. Thank you.